A lot of people have been talking about why some people still insist on not wearing masks, and all kinds of theories and possible explanations. But something that I read, which came in the news, which I thought was very funny. Johnson & Johnson has reported, Johnson & Johnson, they make toiletry products, has reported that they had a fantastic first quarter with the stock prices flying after beating the earnings, and it raised its dividend. And in particular, one of their products that sold very well was Listerine. Not sure why. It seemed like a lot of people now forced to wear masks are discovering, perhaps for the first time in their lives, that they have bad breath, and are rushing out now to fix that problem. And so Listerine is doing very well, and Johnson & Johnson's stock is going up.
I did go for my usual walk. Brisk walk in the park. So I do about 5 kilometers. Yeah. When I first started out, brisk walking, as far as I know, you don't need to put on a mask, right? Yeah, I read it on Active SG. They said it's okay. So there I was, took the mask off, put it in my pocket, went for a walk. And then this really young guy, I think he's probably hired as an ambassador or something, on the golf cart, the golf buggy, drove by, stopped, looked at me, took his phone out, and took a picture of me. So why? He didn't say anything. We're not saying a word, right? But guess what happened? I carried on and just continued walking. Felt very bothered about this. About maybe 500 meters into that, after that happened, I decided I put the mask on because I just felt uncomfortable. Why did this guy take a shot at me? When I reached my halfway down on my walk, made a U-turn, come back to the finishing point, I saw the same guy on a golf cart heading my direction, looking at me, and in front of me, there was a cop car.
It's a better mask, and they're going to be giving it out. I'm to the best of my knowledge, I know no other government in the world that gives out masks to its people. Singapore has got to be the only one. And then online, what I see are more people complaining, saying that, why you must give us more masks? Wasn't the first one good enough? So leceh, again, so you have the whole litany of complaints again, which is very tiresome to read. I'm just grateful that the government is giving out masks. And these better ones would be quite welcome, especially for people who wear glasses.
Am I right to say that they're made available via vending machines?
Through all the different outlets, including vending machines.
Wow.
Right.
The fact that they are giving out more masks might mean that this is going to be the new normal for a while.
The young people want to get married, How are they going to possibly do that? Especially if there's going to be like circuit breaker, if there's going to be social distancing still happening, I'm pretty sure it's going to still stretch way past June. So what's going to be happening with these guys? How are they going to get married?
Yeah, I had a nephew who had to have his wedding postponed because they couldn't do the banquet, right? Mm-hmm, and that's not an option. You don't get married if we cannot all get together and makan, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a new solution, right? Which is you can get solemnized online.
I think the government does a really bad job at communicating sometimes. It probably has an idea within the ministries as to the justification for restricting HBBs and then when they were going to be opening it up, but they did not communicate this. So it seems to us, justifiably, that it seems to be a backtracking. Whether or not it actually is, I really don't know. But again, I think it is just poor communication on their part. The fact that we are thinking it's a backtrack shows it's poor communication on their part because they didn't explain to us why they're doing this. And I think that's a very important thing, that a lot of things happen within the ministries, which they then implement into society without explaining to people how long this is going to be for, why we are doing this, and when this will end, basically. So it leads to speculation, which is never a good thing.
There's something that confused me, though. Something about bakeries, right? Yes. Being allowed to open soon, right? Okay, they were previously closed. But there's a limitation to what they can do, right? They can do bread. They can do bread, but they can't do cakes. Is there a reason for this? Was it communicated? Did I miss something?
No.
Is there a major division between bread and cakes that I don't know about? Because I eat both. I eat both like at the same.
And
Yeah.
Is it
But this
is
is
it a
what I
healthy
mean.
lifestyle thing?
Yeah.
I
This is
don't-
what I mean, though, is that there must have been some rationale. I like to imagine and hope that within the civil service, within the ministries, people had a
Yeah.
discussion about this, and they
Yes.
said, okay, because of A, B, and C, we can allow this, but because of D, E, and F, we cannot allow this.
Right.
They just need to communicate that.
Transport hikes. Because, there was a discussion by our Minister Koh Boon Wan, and he mentioned and said that public transport operators are under significant financial stress. So the government might have to update the financing model for public transport. So my question here is to you guys, do you think, just moving ahead, there are going to be hikes again where our transport is concerned?
I don't understand. What's
The model sounds very dubious.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what's
What
the
does that
definition
mean?
of, yeah. I mean, the press,
if update
mainstream
means
media
they are
reported
going to
that,
step in,
but they didn't explain to the reader what this means,
Yeah.
you know?
are they going to step in and help to support, as many
Yeah.
governments are doing, right? Step in the faltering industries that are important, that are essential.
Or are
that
we
are
left to
public?
speculate again? Are we
Yeah,
left
or
to
do they
speculate
mean just
again?
allow them to have a fair hike as and when they like?
Did you know that towards the end of April, there was an asteroid that just nearly missed us by a hair's breadth? You should see the
No.
reports of NASA.
large?
Yes,
No.
it was quite big. As a matter of fact, some places
It was
in the
the
world,
size of a truck, and it
Yeah.
flew about 7,000 kilometers over the Pacific Ocean on Monday.
7,000
Wow.
clicks is not a lot.
Yeah, one of the closest pass-bys on record. In Parliament last week, or was it this week, the nominated member of Parliament, I think Anthea Ong, she asked for an apology. She asked basically the Minister of Manpower, Josephine Wong, whether or not Josephine Teo, whether she would apologize for the migrant workers. And my thought about this, I want to share this with you guys, is something which I read online on the website 5 Stars in the Moon. I think we'll put this up when we do the show. But I just want to read this to you because I really do believe in this, and I think it's important for us all to keep this in mind. Is that she asked for an apology for the migrant workers. She's not wrong. But her suggestion for the government minister to make the apology is meaningless. This is merely subcontracting an apology to the government. If anyone has failed the migrant workers, it is all of Singapore. All of Singapore has benefited from cheap, expendable labor. All of Singapore has denied them from integrating into the rest of society. We wanted their dorms to be built far away from our estates. We treated them with disdain on our public transport and public places. And nobody really gave two hoots about their living conditions until now. Employers wanted to cash in on profit, and they also owe an apology for looking for the cheapest, easiest solution. Dorm operators wanted to keep costs low and turn out a profit, and they also owe an apology. Singaporeans have benefited from amazing roads, tunnels, malls, homes, hospitals, airports, and offices, and all of Singapore owes them an apology, not just a token handful of politicians. And I really do believe in this. I think that this is a societal issue that every one of us has played a part in, basically. And in some countries, the politician will commit harakiri and sacrifice themselves, fall on their sword and apologize. I'm less interested in that. I'm more interested in seeing real change that will benefit the people who are affected. And so, I do believe that we all owe an apology to the foreign workers, the migrant workers, and even the domestic workers who have contributed so much to our country. This is a cause that I have long talked about for many years and been very sensitive to. And a lot of times I felt like I was banging my head against the wall because there was so much xenophobia and so much intolerance towards these poor workers from my fellow Singaporeans. So I'm glad to see that this is now something that we are all focusing on. And I do agree with what this writer at 5 Stars in the Moon says, is that it's not just the government that owes an apology, it's all of us. So from the bottom of my heart, I would like to apologize to the migrant workers and domestic workers for the way that Singapore has treated them. And I think that we all need to do better. That's the start of the journey and the job that lies ahead of us. The apology is just the start. It cannot just be seen as by some people as the end of it. I find it very ironic that some people I know who have always been very xenophobic and very anti-foreign worker, especially the migrant workers, are now asking the government to apologize. Don't just pass the buck. It starts with us. So that's my feeling about it. So what do you guys think?
Well, I like to say thank you to every single migrant worker we've got in this country. Too many of us don't even bother to say that. And yes, Gilbert, thank you for bringing this up, because it also gives me an opportunity of saying sorry on behalf of all of us that we could have done better. We can always treat you better because you've treated us so well. Every bridge, every road, every building, everything we have was built by your bare hands. And if we haven't done right by you, we are sorry. Yeah. So I really appreciate that, Gilbert. That was really nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
the work just begins.
I want to say to the people who have been, in the years past, already been aware of the circumstances that our foreign workers are living in, who've been advocating for them, who've been reaching out to them, who've been communicating with them when everyone else was ignoring them, right? I think I want to thank those people for persevering, for continuing their struggle, right? And now that the world's attention is on you, please guide us, right? Please give us an example to follow. We are sorry we were not there with you, fighting the good fight earlier, but hopefully beyond this, we will be. So thank you.
Well, it's my turn. So I'm just going to say that, you see, everything that is dark, there's going to be light after that. So even though during these dark times, I just want to say thank you that these dark times have actually shown us the light. And it is thanks to these very, very challenging times that we have come to this point where we are willing to say thank you to these people who we didn't acknowledge before, or we didn't acknowledge earlier, because now we've seen the light. And that's the wonderful part, that during these times, that cloud has a silver lining, and we've all seen the silver lining. And well, sorry, because like all of you said ahead of me, we should have thought of it long back, and we should have been taking care of those dorms and those crowded situations long back. Okay, we didn't. But what's wonderful, as a nation, we've come together to say sorry, and that's what counts, because now we just move ahead positively, inclusively, together, compassionately. So it's one more point. It's all about love. Love.
Yes.
Can I say? I'm sorry. Can I say something as a follow-up from last week's episode? Because I think it's only fair that we do for these guys. For those who celebrating, or rather observing Ramadan at this time and looking forward towards the Hari Raya, we're very happy for you that on May the 12th, your home-based business and your gorgeous cookies can all, start getting on a roll again, and people start enjoying it. Yeah. And as a promise, those of us, I'm going to speak for the rest of my friends in this little chat room, in this show of ours, that we promised that we will continue to support home-based businesses. And once you start, count on us. We will continue to support you guys.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Absolutely.
Gilbert.
No. So I just want to say, thank you guys for watching, and thank you to the migrant workers and domestic workers, and to my fellow Singaporeans. Let's just remember that this is the beginning of what we need to do for them. The sorry and the thank you is not the end. We cannot just say it and forget about it again and go back to the old ways. This is just the beginning, and it starts with every one of us. So thank you. Be safe and be kind.
Thanks again, everyone, for being with us. Okay, don't forget to like and share and subscribe. Okay, and also you will find our short version on YouTube and the full version of the podcast wherever good podcasts are found.
IOHO, in our humble opinion.
Hey, shut up, lah.